Good evening and welcome to the studio this evening to a sleepy Sawagan out. Oh dear, I fell asleep earlier on today, or earlier this evening, which was clever. I was driving a lorry at the time. Well, I wasn't. I was, but I wasn't driving a lorry at the time. I was playing Euro Truck Simulator, and whilst I fell asleep, I'd paused the game before I fell asleep, and woke up an hour later. And carried on. Oh dear, playing that game today, and I've taken it twice today. I was taking all sorts of wrong turnings and all sorts. I don't know what was going on with me. Couldn't drive for the life of me. Well, I was driving, but not where I should have been. Right. Christmas card. Well, that's the intention. Is to try and do something Christmas card like. Which is going to be interesting. You know what, I've just realised I forgot to sand this piece of wood. Never mind. Nothing I can do about it now, because I don't want to do it now, because I've drawn on it. Somewhere around here I've got a brush. There it is. Don't want to rub marks off by hand, because I know what will happen if I do that is I'll rub the marks actually in. I'll rub the eraser stuff into the wood grain, which will then make it stick there permanently, which is why I'm using the brush. Right, so I'm hoping this will be relatively easy to do because it's black and whitish. What I ought to do is get myself a glass ruler. Because a glass ruler, you can use a pyrography pen down the side of a glass ruler, especially if you get it's Pyrex glass, but that's a trade name. And I've completely forgotten. Borosilicate, that's the word I'm looking for. Borosilicate glass. Because this pen is nowhere near hot enough to even cause it to get stressed. So the intent tonight is to try and do a Christmas card on wood, or something that at least resembles a Christmas card. So, you know, a snowy scene type thing. Usual sort of stuff. Now it is going to be an interesting challenge because the snow is going to have to be negative space. It's going to have to be left. So what I'm going to need to do is leave the turn this down a bit. Leave the wood uncoloured. Where I'm going to put the snow. So at the moment, sketching a fence. I hope nobody takes it. Sorry. That's just an old joke. I know some people say you can't beat an old joke, but you can, you just need a big enough stick. So all I'm doing at the moment is just sketching in outlines. Giving myself some idea of where things are. Hello Wolfie, good evening. Welcome to the studio this evening. And how are you today? Whew. And I'm still working off camera, aren't I? Or starting to work off camera. I'm going to have to be careful. They're actually X's, but I'm not going to bother. So, what is it today? It's Thursday, isn't it? So, I'm doing a Christmas card, which is meant to be for Christmas, so I've got to get it done fairly quickly. So, it's going to be interesting just to see what's going to take me time and what isn't. The hard part about this is not going to be the bits that I apply pyrography to. It's going to be the bits that I don't. They're going to be the hard bits because this is snow, a snow scene, and I can't pyrography white. So snow is going to have to be the board left completely untouched. Which even means that I can't easily scrape it out afterwards, because it won't be the same. So the negative space stuff is going to be real interesting on this. Whew. Now then, you can read the title. Yeah, I did give it away, didn't I? Excuse me a second. Yeah, it's a little warm in the studio today. I don't know why. The studio is temperature controlled, and yet it's warm in here. So I'm kind of going towards fast tonight. and then we'll see what that comes out looking like and adjust accordingly. Now I can get away with a little bit of soft focus like, so I don't necessarily have to have exact sort of lines and things. Christmas cards, kind of slightly different rules. So I can do things like slightly cartoon-like and things like that if I want. So a wooden fence, which is I guess fairly obvious, is what this is. Which has snow on top of it. So I'm doing the bit without the snow. Now it's relatively dark, so a lot of it is sort of fairly stark contrasts. And of course I picked the easy bit to start with, which is the fence. I'm going to do a lot of shading with this. It's weird how you stop being able to concentrate quite as much when you get warm. You got all your Christmas preparation done, Wolfie? Or are you two leaving it like well the last minute? I know I've got all my Christmas shopping done. Haven't wrapped anything up yet. I'm not going to until the last minute. Easier to hide stuff when it's not wrapped up than when it is. Because I hide stuff in plain view. So Lady Zara has no idea what she's getting for Christmas, but it's actually out in plain view. But she won't see it because it's out in plain view. So if I wrap it up, it'll be obvious that there's something there and how big it is and things like that. Leave it unwrapped and she'll never see it. And then I'll wrap it Christmas Eve. You never buy presents, you only reserve them. Don't quite follow. Well, this year, because of circumstances, Lady Zara and I won't be actually giving ourselves much in the way of Christmas presents. But I do have some art for her. Some of her favourite singers. I've got some. I've done some art for her this year, so at least that way it hasn't cost us any pennies. We didn't understand them. I didn't understand you when you said I only reserved them. You do not have presents. Okay. Now the whitey snow. The whitey snow is probably going to be on the roofs. Okay, so all the rest is coloured snow. This is a case. This is going to be a case of where white isn't white. So what I'm going to do is pick the whitey spot, and that's probably going to be. Well, it is going to be the roofs, as I mentioned, and I'm going to leave that natural wood colour. But then other whites, like for example the side of, because snow lays on the roof, so the side of it is not quite as white. It looks white, you think of it as white, but it's grey. So I've got to colour that slightly. So all the way through here I'm going to be comparing whites. Which bits do I have to apply pyrography to and which don't I? And it's quite possible that some shapes will look odd to start with until we start to put in some of the colouring around them. This is quite a rustic fence in a way. I'm just looking at it. The bars here are all sorts of shapes and sizes. So they're probably tree branches. So I may come back at the end and put a little bit of three-dimensionality into them. Or we may not. Whew. Now I'm not actually going to be all that bothered about too much smoothness all the way through here. I'm obviously looking for a good picture, so the quality of the work is important, but certain things that on a portrait, for example, are more important than they are in a scene like this. So smoothness, I'm drawing wood, wood isn't smooth, so if I don't get smooth marks, not really important. Indeed, the fact that this is, I'm doing different colours here as well, kind of just making them stand out by making them slightly different colours. Not important. I mean, they wood may or may not be the same colour, but it doesn't actually matter, it doesn't have to be. Ow! Have to try and remember not to dig the pen into the wood. When you're working with a hot pen, it has a tendency to want to sink actually into the wood, and then you get all sorts of rough surface texturing and things, which is quite likely not what you're after. So you've got to be careful when you're doing it to keep a light but consistent pressure, so that you actually smooth things out. You don't actually cut into the wood or mark deep into the wood, which is what was happening there. Sort of texture I've managed to get onto a couple of these things because I wasn't really concentrating as much as I should have done. is kind of fine if you're doing animals and it's like a fur or like water, running water, these sorts of things where you sort of do expect some sort of variation. Other times it's just looks wrong if you look at it in detail. When you step back and take this other 6-foot view, you don't see it, so it's only when you come up close. You wouldn't think that this and this were done at exactly the same heat. This is an area of the wood that just does not want to cook, does not want to change colour at all. Now I can force it, I'm not at this point in time. You can always come back and darken it down. Leave that one off. Right. This feels something sort of slightly ironic about doing pyrographing on wood, a wooden cottage. It's sort of vaguely don't quite know what word I'm looking for, but sort of iterative or It's this camera that's making me go off frame, I know it is. What's happening is I'm tending to step to one side so I don't bang my head on it, and I can actually sort of look over the board without getting in the way of the camera. And of course what that's doing is making me go sideways. So you might have guessed, not talking. Don't take much to guess that I'm not talking. It's kind of obvious. I'm just not very talkative tonight. Don't know if that is because of me falling asleep earlier or just... But for that I apologise. But hopefully it's still a reasonably chill, relaxing stream. It's also, it is 25.5 degrees Celsius currently here in the studio, for no apparent reason. What I may have to do after the stream is just open the window for 5 minutes just to let some of this warm air out. It's rather too warm in here. I should have done that before the start of the stream, but it never occurred to me. Quite why it never occurred to me, I don't know. I've got one dirty great big window, which is effectively a door. So I've got enough opening room to let a lot of air out. So one thing I spent quite a bit of time today looking at was, believe it or not, was export regulations. Because if I want to sell any of the pyrography items outside of the UK that you see me do on streams, most of the stuff that's done by commission, and most of that's, or all of that so far has been in the UK. But to sell stuff internationally, so if I put it in the shop for example, then it's more than possible that somebody outside of the UK would purchase it, and that means I've got to send it out. And from the UK, if I'm sending to a non-EU country, like the United States for example, or well, just about anywhere really, I have to complete a customs declaration, which means I've got to put a code on the customs declaration which defines what the thing is. And it's a relatively complex system. It's a 10-digit number you have to work, well, for customs you have to work out a 6-digit number, but if I was told about tax I'd have to work out a 10-digit number based on classifying things. So you're going through, like, is it wood? Yes it is, but it's not wood, it's worked wood. But it's not worked wood, it's got art on top of it, so it's actually a work of art, not wood, even though it is wood. But it's a work of art which is done by hand, not by machine, so that classifies it a certain way, except, and here's where you get interesting. For example, it talks about works of art which are painting, well, pyrography isn't included, but there again you kind of have to interpret it as it is, even though it's not. So it's been an informative, also interesting, an informative several hours reading customs documents just to work out what the 6-digit number is I have to put on a customs declaration if I send one of these pieces internationally outside of the EU. See, most people wouldn't even realise just how much things like that go into selling stuff. If I don't put it on, what happens is it's quite likely that the item gets opened. But it's more likely that the item gets opened at customs on the import side. And then they may or may not do whatever they may or may not do with it. But it's quite possible that the recipient gets charged for them doing that. Now if I've coded it, it becomes less likely, and if I've coded it right, it becomes even less likely. But at least if I've coded it right and they do open it, they don't destroy it or for misclassification and things like that. Makes me wonder actually that you see a lot of streamers who give away stuff, physical stuff, and they give it away to different countries. I wonder how many of them actually think about the fact that they've got to code it properly. It's also interesting that a giveaway of stuff, here's where it gets weird, a giveaway of stuff can't be sent as a gift even though you're giving it away, because you're supposed to know the person personally to be able to give them a gift. So a giveaway done on stream has to go as a commercial object that's not been bought. But the person that receives it is still responsible for the import tax and any other local taxes, because it can't be a gift. So next time you go in for a giveaway competition that somebody's doing, remember you might have to pay for the results. This camera is in a way quite inhibiting. Right, turn this way down and give it time to cool off, because I'm going to do some of the snow. Where's my pad of... Oh, that is. Really ought to polish this tip, I think. Maybe something for tomorrow. Now then, that's too cool. Now I've stopped somewhat abruptly there because I'm going to put a tree. And as a tree will have snow on it, and that snow would block the view of the roof, then I don't want to put the roof edge in until I know where the snow's going. Now that should just, yeah, the camera does not like this white. That should, yeah, it's just about visible there. Now I've got to fix that camera. Go on, camera. That's the LED. That's the LEDs. That's the lights flickering. Actually, it happens with any lights, but there. Oh, come on. Right, I'll adjust that manually. It happens with any lights. This camera is supposed to have a filter built in to filter out 50 Hz flicker, which is what that is. But for some reason, it's not doing it properly. Let's try that first. So let's turn the filter off. Let's turn it back on. Absolutely no effect at all. Right. Okay, so I have to overexpose the image in order to get that to Alright. That's a little overexposed, I'm afraid, but it's about the only way I can get this camera to not flicker. Well, at least it'll make the white look, the snow look more white. So I'm just bring. This is the side edge of the snow. So, and it's in shade. So this is just a real light colour. Now I did put an edge in, but because the wood behind it is dark, that edge will get hidden by the darkness of the background. So I'm barely changing the colour of the wood, but I am changing it, as you can see, or as you saw earlier. You see the edge there, hopefully. Now you can't, now it's overexposed. Yeah, okay. Tilted like that, you can just about see that colouring I've put on there. Now this side probably wants to be slightly darker than that side just because of lighting. So the interesting thing is the snow that's on this side of the roof is thicker than on that side, so obviously the wind was blowing like this when it fell. Now what is this channel? Epic. It's a lot more nice and relaxing tonight, is this? This is Pretzel Rocks, by the way, if anybody wasn't aware. Although it is below the stream window. This is their Epic channel. And last night it was a bit meh, wasn't quite. Not actually sure. Well, I suppose this is the sort of epic that is. You just go over the top of a hill and suddenly you can see thousands of miles in front of you. You know, mountains and snow-capped hills, and it's that sort of epic sort of sound tonight, rather than thousands of people in a stadium type of epic, which it seemed to be last night. You're back? Okay. Didn't know you'd gone. But that's alright. I'm just carrying on. You were lucky me. Oh, okay. Kind of the same though, because had I said something to you, you wouldn't actually have known I'd said it. But I do appreciate you still continuing to run the stream, so that there's somebody watching, and the viewer count was one more. But thank you. I can appreciate that tonight. I personally am not all that entertaining. Whether I'm ever actually entertaining or not, I don't know, but tonight. It's the pyrography itself which has to be entertaining rather than me, I think. Oh, that's good. Well, it kind of means that what I'm doing is interesting rather than me. I don't know. I don't know whether that's good or bad. I am who I am, and yeah, I know, I agree, Wolfie, but what you get is you get people who come into the stream that have no idea what pyrography is. So the people, people like yourself who have, are here frequently, of course, know all about it. But the people who just drop in have got no idea. Oh, I know. Well, tough, but it's a valid point. For people that do actually, it's a valid point you make. It does become repetitive. I mean, if it was repetitive for you, kind of think about me, because I have to keep saying it. And I can understand it being not very interesting, because you know the story, or you already know the detail. Unfortunately, it's a case of it's the what makes it kind of imperative to do in some ways is the fact that there is not a lot of viewers, and unfortunately, what that means is that there isn't a lot of chat that goes on. If there was a lot of people watching, there was a lot of interaction, then there's people have to ask if they want to know what pyrography is and things like that, or when there's not a lot of people around to actually talk with, then it's kind of expected that you fill it in somehow. Put a voice on the channel. People do not appear to like going into channels where the host isn't talking in some way. I mean, there are some times like tonight where it's just too bad they have to put up with it, but No, it's not your problem, not your fault even, you know. It's not my fault either. It's just expectation of people coming into the stream. They expect. I don't know what they expect, to be honest. If I did, I'd probably have 1,000 people watching. It's an interesting question. I mean, as a streamer, what you kind of would like is whatever that magic formula is. I mean, you can go around and you can let's say in creative, for example, you can go around, because that's probably the hardest category. Games, you can kind of get away without talking because the game is what people are there to primarily to watch, and you've got the game sounds and you've got the action on screen and things like that. When you get someone who's doing art, unless it's a really fast art, creative things, and some are really fast. Somebody who throws a pot, for example, that's quite a fast art form, and that in itself is kind of entertaining because of the speed. Something like this, or maybe somebody who's drawing, perhaps, it doesn't develop very fast, and therefore it's not inherently interesting in itself. Where you might watch a time lapse, watching the same thing taking 2 hours, people are less inclined to stay around. They've got relatively short attention spans, and therefore, the host has a lot more work to do. And the interesting thing is, you sort of look around the creative channels from time to time, and I can't work out what it is, because you can see people who don't talk. There's, they don't say anything, there's no face cam, and there's 30 people watching them. And it's kind of like, why? I wish I knew. I guess unless it's they're doing something very specialist, like ZBrush, for example, and you've got ZBrush enthusiasts who are watching how they do it, maybe. But, I just wish I could work it out. You're going to get a snack and watch 3 movies. Wow, you're staying up late then, aren't you? You're going to watch 3 movies. So what are they, 90 minutes a piece? That's 4.5 hours. And it's what? It's what, nearly 10 o'clock for you, so that's 2 o'clock in the morning. Wow. Well, this isn't going quite as fast as I hoped it would, but it's not going too bad. So I'm not sure I'll finish this. Well, what I might do is I might do some of this off stream. Of course, you can have as much time as you like, Wolfie. When you come back, and then when you work out you haven't heard what I'm saying, and I maybe work out that you haven't heard what I'm saying, tell me, why are you staying at 5 o'clock in the morning? Okay, so now I've got to start and put boards in. Let's start with an edge board down here first. Down to about there before we catch the tree, which I want to put there. I'm kind of, but not kind of, looking forward to doing the trees. I'm kind of intimidated or scared by them, but equally I'm kind of not. Which kind of sounds like a complete contradictory load of waffle. I've never done negative trees, I've never done trees like this before. And I have no idea how to go about doing them. I've got to do all the negative space because they've got snow on their branches. I've got overlaps to worry about, and all of that I'm thinking, how on earth am I going to do this? So it's kind of daunting in that respect, but I'm just going to go and do it, so I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm hoping I can do it justice. And get a look that I really like. So I'm going to have an edge board on here as well, which is going to come up from about there. Corner boards, wooden buildings, log cabins, that sort of thing, tend to have corner boards, because what you get is you get the two sides that come together, so you've got a gap which moisture, air, water, wind, cold can get in, so they put boards over, they put a board over each side which shields it. Corner boards. Or if you get log cabins, what they do with log cabins is the sides overlap each other and they cut half rounds out so that the logs sit on top of each other, and then the stuff things in between all the cracks to actually seal the gaps. And wood's quite a good insulator because of its cellular nature. It doesn't conduct heat very well, which is why this is cooking quite nicely. And just to the side of it is cold, but touching it is quite hot. Now I can go all the way down to the fence. Hello Ace, sorry I didn't see you pop up there. Christmas, it would be an appropriate time for the apocalypse, wouldn't it? Because all the fruit people have got in. So what snacks have you got for this evening? Got anything really nice, Wolfie? And how are you doing, S? I think I saw you doing some pyrography. Might have been yesterday. I don't think I looked today. You were doing a badge, I think. So Wolfie, why are you staying up 5 AM in the morning? Just chips, by which you mean what I would call crisps, I think. You have sleep issues. That's a good reason to not stay at 5 in the morning. I'm just disappearing off camera because what I meant to do get the other day was something to show us. The idea, if you've got sleep issues, the thing they always say is go to bed at the right time and get up at the right time, the same every day, whether you sleep or not. Because that way you train your body when it's time to go to bed, not staying up. Or if you cycles out completely, like it might be, I guess, if you get up at 5 in the morning, don't go to bed at 5 in the morning. Stay up all the way through the next day, and then go to bed at the normal time. This was the last carving that was done on the stream. Sorry, I've got a problem with this camera, which flickers. Or catches the light flickers. I've got to overexpose it slightly, and you can't easily see the head. But this was the last carving we finished on stream. It is, of course, a relief carving. I can't get the head. There we go. If I shade it slightly. Wasn't bad. I ended up carving this right wing about 6 times because I kept getting it wrong. So I had to keep lowering the height of the relief carving until I managed to get it right. Okay, Wolfie, no problem. I will be coming to an end shortly anyway. Now this corner is kind of the same. I can bring that down. Let's cheat. Let's make this side just subtly darker, just so that you can see where the edge is, at least at the bottom here. So I'll make that other side slightly lighter in a minute. Okay. I don't know, I kind of don't understand these people that can watch a horror movie and then go to sleep. If I watched a horror movie, the last thing I'd be able to do, I think, is sleep. I know some people find them funny. and I suppose that really depends on the genre of horror. Oh, I have just realised what you meant by your watch to the end. Yeah. Thanks for that, Wolfie. I was thinking you're going to watch a horror movie to the end. Of course you didn't. You meant, well, maybe if you think this is a horror movie, you meant you were going to watch me to the end. Yeah, just a couple of minutes. I'm actually, what I'll do is I'll just finish this this pillar here. Okay. Well, that's true. I mean, there's nothing interesting in the final 5 minutes. You know, it's a complete waste of time. Okay, so I'm actually rather pleased with what I've got done on there. So this, for people who are maybe watching don't know, this is intended to be a postcard. Not a postcard, a Christmas card. So it's a Christmassy type scene, so it's a wooden log cabin. There's going to be snow about, trees in the background, maybe a Christmas message across the top, I don't know. And then what I will do is write an actual Christmas message on the back, take another piece of wood, join it to this, so that it will stand. So, Christmas card. So I'm kind of going to be working with a lot of white, and the way you work with white is by not working with the white, you work with the black around it. So it's what gets described as negative space work. The white is what you leave. So for example, when I come in, I've come in around here because there's snow on top of this chimney, and when I colour in the rest of this, I'll leave that top bit there. I may apply a little bit of shading to it because of sides and things, but essentially I'm working around what I'm leaving white. So the top of the fence, for example, there's snow laying on the top of the fence in various places, so when I come to do what's behind it, I leave gaps, which is going to prove interesting for the trees, because they've got the fir trees, you know, the archetypal Christmas tree, in Europe anyway, and they're natural, but they've got snow on their leaves, so I'm going to have to do the bits under the snow. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. Well, I am. I'm going to just look at a picture and I'm just going to draw the negative space, but I won't be thinking they're trees. I'm going to do a space that looks like this and another bit that looks like, and I'll work with shapes. So this is kind of it for tonight. I will probably be doing this off stream as well because I want to finish it in the next couple of days, and I will be doing some more work on this cottage log cabin, and doing some of the sort of detail around there. So when we come back, come back tomorrow night on the next stream, it may be a lot more finished. So yeah, okay, right, Wolfie, have a good evening. So yeah, stream will be tomorrow with a bit of luck anyway. Start between 7 PM and 8 PM UK time. The start time varies just depending on when I get to be able to have a meal, mainly because for me it's a good idea to have something to eat before I stream, because otherwise I want to finish early. So I either start late, have a meal before, or I start on time or start at 7 o'clock and finish early when I go have a meal. Same time either way, but I'm more likely to go on later if I have a meal first. And we will carry on from wherever it's left off with. If I get this done tomorrow night, I will go back to the leopard, which is just to the side of me here. But the leopard isn't something I have to get done for a particular time. This would be a good idea to finish for Christmas. If you wanted to see the start of this, the Twitch VOD will be there for another couple of weeks. It will also go onto YouTube and be visible from about 9 o'clock tomorrow night. So if you're more familiar or want to use YouTube, you can look at Zaragonart, youtube.com/Zaragonart, and you can see this broadcast from tomorrow night, all the previous broadcasts, all the way back to April 2015 when I started. Well, almost. You can't quite see the first ones because I didn't know, I forgot to record them, and you couldn't easily download them from Twitch at that time. So check it out. Also, for you, be fantastic if you're watching, if you follow the channel if you're not already, push that button up there, and if you'd like to consider supporting the channel, there is the bits button and the subscription button, all of which go towards buying things like wood, good quality wood. It isn't cheap. It's still expensive, but it isn't cheap. All costs money, and things like it would be nice to have a camera that didn't flicker all the time, and things like that. But that's the long-term stuff, and that's what it all goes towards. Whatever's done with this channel. With that, hope I'll see you on the stream tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.